that's it, guys. The Wizard on the Epiphone SG Special. It's a 2020. Based off of the early mid-60s Gibson SG Special or Gibson Les Paul. By 63, late 63, definitely 64 and on, they changed the name from the Les Paul to the SG, which stands for solid guitar. Again, Tony Iommi on the Monkey SG. They call it the Monkey SG because of the monkey sticker he got of a monkey playing a violin, some goofy sticker that they would get at like concerts, and he just stuck it on his guitar. But it was basically very similar to this guitar. This is all stock. Tony's SG was obviously modded. It was a left-handed. He had the strap holder, or where the strap goes on. He had it on the horn up here, and he had John Birch pickups, and he originally did have a wraparound tailpiece bridge like this, but it was eventually swapped out later in the 70s. This is a sparkling burgundy, which is similar to the 60s famous cherry. Again, the Wizard, taken from the debut album. There's the Warner Brothers release on cassette. Here's the vinyl version. The CD version, of course, based off the original vinyl. That's Louisa Livingstone, which is the witch on the front cover. She's a real person. She was an 18-year-old model at the time in the photo. The photo was shot in Oxford, right outside of London, at the 15th century Mapledurham Watermill house, which is the building in the background. The photo was shot at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Freezing cold out, late fall, maybe early winter. And she was basically naked in the photo. She just had like a black cloak on. She said that it was freezing cold out when they did the photo, and they just wanted to get it over with. Here's the Warner Brothers deluxe edition of the album, with the bonus tracks. Include the studio outtakes, the alternative versions, and the stuff that's obviously not featured on the original vinyl, including Evil Woman, which was a Black Sabbath cover, and was released. I believe Evil Woman was placed on some of the more European debut album releases over in Europe somewhere, but in the UK and in the US, Evil Woman was originally not featured on the album. Evil Woman was their first 1970s official single. So the Wizard, one of the very few songs of Ozzy playing a musical instrument, which was obviously the harmonica. Very eerie song too. Tony Iommi, famous for his obviously his Gibson SG and his Laney Supergroup amps. And I'm using the Catlin Bred Sabracadabra signature Tony Iommi pedal, which is based off of his rig used in the early days, in the 70s, early 70s, like before Technical Ecstasy album, which was 76. So this is more of like a 69 to like 75 kind of sound that the pedal is going for. And originally Tony Iommi used a Dallas Rangemaster, which was a treble booster, and that's also what this pedal is supposed to mimic, like a treble booster, Laney amp stack, Supergroup. I'm not sure what kind of wah pedal Tony Iommi used in the early days. I'm assuming it was a Crybaby. I am using a Zakk Wylde signature wah pedal on my rig, not in the song though. Sometimes it almost sounds like there's a wah in there, because it almost sounds like a wah on the closed position, which would be up, because it has like a low tone to it. But I did not mimic that, because between the lead parts I'd be clicking it on and off. But I think the overdub part, there might be a wah pedal just on the closed position, which is the up position. Regent Sound Studios, 1970, recording Paranoid. Notice Tony Iommi playing the 3 pickup Gibson Les Paul Custom. Either the Les Paul Custom, or that might have been an early SG Custom right after they took the name off. It's hard to see on the Truss Ride cover if it says Les Paul. And he has the sideways vibrato, which is like weird. You kind of like squeeze it like that. But I don't think he used it too much. Sometimes I used to think maybe that was also one of the guitars used on the debut, but I don't think it is. I think it was the SG Special. There's Ozzy at Regent Sound Studios. Again, the album was recorded live in the studio. So, and some of you don't know what that means there was very few overdubbing. They just set up and they jammed these songs, like, you know, in very few takes. They played it live as if it would sound like they played in the kind of environment that it would sound like if they were playing like a show in a club or a small bar venue like they did in the early days. And then I think sometime in either, which also was the album was recorded in October '69, so sometime either later in October or November, they went back to the studio and they just did some very few overdubs with the guitar, Ozzy's vocals, and some mixing and remastering. And then the photo shoot, and then the album was out by Friday the 13th. Funny thing, Friday the 13th was yesterday, but it was in February, Friday the 13th. Album was released 1970 in the UK, and then June 1st, released in the US, 1970. I'm using a Vox Python guitar Strat. Here's, I believe this is Black Sabbath, one of their first compilation albums, released in 1976, called We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll. The Wizard was also featured on here. And then here we have the 1970 to 1978 Black Sabbath Greatest Hits album. The Ozzy years, that is. Some great photos in here. Again, in the photo on the debut album, Louisa Livingstone, who replicates a witch, the spooky, mysterious woman on the front cover, supposedly she was holding a black cat as one of the props. I don't know if it was in the shot that they used to put on the album cover, because obviously you don't see a black cat. But apparently that was one of the props, along with a crow borrowed from a taxidermist that was stuffed. There's Tony Iommi with his Gibson SG Special. Probably about mid-70s there, maybe 1973 maybe. In this photo, if you look, he has a stop bar tailpiece. So he had some different bridge setups, I guess, for tuning purposes. But originally he had the wraparound, and then at one point he had the stop bar tailpiece, and then at one point he took it out and had another one on there, which I'm not sure what it was. Probably for tuning purposes. Again, it's not supposed to be a note for note, but just in the style of Tony Iommi. which are all my Improvs are supposed to be. There's the Ozzy albums, or the 70s Sabbath albums during the Ozzy years. Here's the best of Black Sabbath. This was released, I believe, in 2000. Cool photos. Again, one of the reasons why Black Sabbath's music sounds so doomy, it was because of the low tuning of Tony's guitar, because of the accident that he was in with his middle finger and ring finger. The tips of them were chopped off. He used to work at a steel mill factory in Birmingham, and he had low tuning guitars after the first album, because the tension on his fingers hurt real bad. And he had thimbles, which were like these fake fingertips he made for the remainder of his career, even during the first album. This was out actually before the first album too, by the way, the accident. And I guess it bothered his fingers, so from that point on he had to tune his guitar down, along with Geezer had to tune their guitar down, because of the tension of the strings in standard tuning were very tense on his fingers. So they all had to use low tuning in their songs, and that's why their music sounds so dark. That's one of the reasons. The other reason was they just wanted to make dark music, because they wanted to kind of write songs about the other side of life. During this time, everyone was writing songs about hippies and stuff, and they just wanted to do something that was more dark and that grabbed people's attention. With the music they did was just different than what other people were doing. Check out Black Sabbath's 2020 album. It's Black Sabbath is it's Zakk Wylde, who played with Ozzy Osbourne, Black Label Society. He did a tribute to the debut album. He redid the whole debut album in his own way. So check it out. Pretty cool. I just got it yesterday. Obviously, it's not going to sound like the original. It's not supposed to. But he's an unbelievable guitar player, and he played it very well. Here's the debut album, the guitar tablature book. This is the whole book, or the whole album for guitar, note for note. Just got this yesterday, Friday the 13th, August. Here it is, the Wizard. And Black Sabbath shirt, of course. Got to wear the shirts in the videos. This photo is actually in the inside sleeve of the Master Reality album, which was their third album. And here's my pedal board. Zakk Wylde signature wah. Catlin Bred Sabre Cadaver pedal. The volume knob says volume 4 on it, which was a play on words because their fourth album was called Volume 4. And I used the Ocean's 11 reverb pedal on the plate setting. And Converse sneakers, of course. And that's it, guys. Another video. Thanks. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope you liked it. Rockstars92. Thank you.